Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Rise Up, Youth Organization. Hi, my name is Tyrone Lyons and I'm your host. And this week's topic is about healing. How can we come to a point where we can heal each other as for some of the wrongs that has been done it could be from nations, from countries, from even friends and neighbors within your own community. Let's start with the word healing. It could either be a physical healing or either emotional healing. Now let's look at a physical healing. If someone casts a stone and embarrassing the individual, you as a person, sometimes, we take it too personal. But the process of starting to heal physically, we need to first look at the individual to understand why is this person is trying to humiliate you or someone that you care about. You got to think in terms of what's going on with that person. How can you interact with that person to sort of kind of change the way they think, the way they conduct themselves amongst others? I have a few suggestions. First, you have to get to know a person. Get to understand that person. Get to understand what's important to them in life. And when you understand an individual, then you'll start realizing that, if that person is emotionally or physically going through something, you can be there to try to assist them to get back on the right path. Now, we look at countries, we look at civilization, we look at politics, just for an example, how you have the Republican Party, the Democrat Party. It's like they are both always at odds with each other. You got the name calling, you got the Donald Trumps, you got the McCarthy, you got the Biden. I mean, these are officials that pretty much dictates which direction this country is headed into. But when you get to know someone personally, you just have to sit back and learn that person, to understand that person. And when they're troubled, what do? Listen. Try to understand what they're going through, whether it's male or female. Just listen. And while you're listening to that person, just think about the words they're saying. Let them speak. Let them tell you what's going on with them. And once you get to understand, it's not like you're trying to be a social worker or anything like that. But the point I'm trying to make is that you are just lending an ear to understand someone so we can start healing each other. That's the key. You don't want someone to cast a stone or embarrass you or try to embarrass others, without understanding. And once you understand, then you could get them on the road to start healing, where they won't even take notice, or let's say they won't even attempt to embarrass other people. Then that's where love comes in at. That's when I say there's two forms. You have the physical and you have the emotional. Once we get past the physical, then think about it. The emotional sets in. Okay? Now, they're listening. I mean, you can give a constructive, advice to someone and let them understand that, we are all the same people. Now, I'm not trying to put the Bible in this, but think about it. We all believe in a God, whether Muslim, Christian, Baptist, whatever is out there in terms of your beliefs, right? So let's think about that. So once you believe that God, his faith, your faith in God, you can accomplish anything that you want to, as far as putting people in a faith or understanding what it is that they need to be doing. Now, think, terms when I say God, I'm not trying to put God into the equation. But what I mean when I say God is that if you believe in God, there's nothing that you cannot do. It's all about faith. It's all about coming together. As you welcome your neighbor, your friend, your family member, that's all about love. That's where the emotions come in at. So you strive to communicate with others so that you can build a better relationship. It starts with the individual. Once you could get one person to understand that it's not appropriate to do physical or emotionally harm anyone, if you can get through to just one person, that person can then get through to someone else. And you just got to listen and take the time to understand each other's differences, because we all have the ability to assist each other. I mean, think about it. This world could be in a much better place if we would just treat each other the way God intended us to do, as family. Because if we can open the borders for immigration, if we can do that and allow people to have that so-called American dream, it takes you back to where when we was young, growing up in this country, knowing that all the possibilities are there for us to achieve our goals. And if you have the love for this country and the love for people, there's nothing that you couldn't achieve. Think about it. Again, I say healing. Healing is very important. I mean, you can't go back into time and heal for, let's say, the wrong that has been done on different cultures, whether you're Black, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're European, whether you're Greek, whether you're Italian. I mean, every culture at some point in time was, let's sort of taken advantage of. Some was enslaved. You know, that's the worst form of physical and mentally abusing someone, enslaving them. Some of us was robbed of our identity, our culture. And when you immigrate, those times has changed. When I say when you immigrate, that means that you allowing people to come into your country, or and then they picking up your, let's say, your culture. Whether it's an English culture or whether it's an Italian or a German culture, whatever it is, when you have outsiders come in, whether you're Mexican, whether you're African, it doesn't matter. If you go to the United States, you're going to pick up the English culture. If you go to Italy, you're going to pick up the Italian culture. So you got to think, these are, how can I describe it? These are ways where unity comes about. When you think about it, as we talked earlier about physical, right? Healing. All that boils down to communication. When you bring cultures into a country, you're allowing them, they coming from ruined areas possibly. They don't have the advantages that we have over here in the United States. They looking to better themselves. So not only that you're allowing them to come over physically and help them heal from that which they came, you're also helping them mentally. because you're giving them an opportunities where they can build and advance in life and create a safe environment for their families. This is what we all want, right? So it's not hard for us to come to that time or come to that place. Okay, it's really not that hard. Healing is the key. So you got to think, regardless of what was done in the past, we have to move forward. This generation that is coming up now, they look for leaders. But how is it that you have adults that are not relating to each other, whether different cultures or whatever it is, and we're not having that relation. We're not coming to a place where we can have peace amongst each other. I say this because healing, you have to think in terms of the understanding, and that's the key towards healing and moving forward. And you mustn't forget about the past. I'm not saying forget about the past, but use the past as a tool, as a torch to move forward in a positive way, where we can come together and teach each other. Okay? Now, emotionally, healing is when you come to a place where we all can understand each other. And I'm not trying to repeat that, but I just want to put emphasis on healing because that is the key. Now, you could go on YouTube, you could go to these other channels, Twitter, Facebook, you hear other people talk about different relationships and things of that sort and how they handle certain things. And, there's crime, there's people doing harm to each other physically, and they're putting it all out on these, on these networks or these social media channels. But my point I'm trying to make, it could be a brighter conversation at the end of the day. You don't always have to just look at the ugly part of the world. It's always going to be there, unfortunately. But we should not allow that part to dictate how we should be amongst each other. Because everybody, again, if your faith is there, if you believe in your God, if you have faith in your God, and obviously I believe your God is, if you're following your God faithfully, he's teaching you about love. So that's the key. That's the key for success towards healing. And once you adopt that formula, you're not going to be casting stones. You're not going to be embarrassing others. You're not going to be using your social position to do harm to others. You're going to have that faith that and this is what my God want me to be doing, is to love, to spread love. And that's the key towards healing. So with that being said, I just want you to think about what I said. Look in the mirror. It starts with healing. It starts with the individual. Don't be angry about the borders open up and people coming into this country, or the people here in this country, or we're not getting along. All that's negativity. We got to find a solution to try to get together and figure it out, how we can improve our relationships. That's when you start healing. You want to heal. If you're not practicing healing amongst you, first it has to start within. If you're not practicing healing within, how can you take it abroad? It's going to be impossible. So you got to have that faith. Start with yourself as the individual. Look in the mirror. Think about your faith and what you want out of life. And just apply it. Apply it in a peaceful way. Spread love. Wake up in the morning when you go about. Whether you take a bus, train, get to your job, speak. Don't just go to your office or if you work in a factory, go to your location in the factory, whatever type of work you do, and just open the, punch your clock and start working. Speak to your neighbor. Listen to your neighbor. And if they want to talk and they want to express themselves, allow them to do that. Don't just, turn your back. Listen, because that's key towards healing. We need to understand how important healing is. Now, we all have different type of illnesses. There's all kinds of people in the hospital. There's all kinds of people dealing with something personal in life. But you know what? With faith and believing in what you need to be doing, with faith, you're going to get through anything. You're going to get through your illnesses. You're going to get through your sicknesses. You're going to be able to show love and express love no matter where you are in this world. So just think about it. Look at yourself in the mirror. I'm not going to take up too much time on this subject because I think my audience understands exactly the point I'm trying to make. So just be conscious and just show appreciation. That would take you a long way. So I conclude this week's episode with just remember, look at the person in the mirror, heal that person, and then take that wherever you may walk in life and make a difference. Thank you.